Hello and welcome to a special presentation from In the Money Media, YouTube exclusive content. We're talking about our Belmont top five. Oh, wait, I just realized I'm wearing the wrong hat. Hang on a second. Yeah, that's better. This is the hat I wanted for this video. We did a top five video a couple of weeks ago. We have a lot more information now. JK, how pumped are you getting in general for this Belmont Stakes Festival at Saratoga happening next weekend?
It's going to be a lot of fun. The press release came out. Frank Miramati's going to be calling the Belmont. I am going to be a little bit more involved than I was last year with the Fox broadcast, hanging out with Carissa Thompson and Chris Felica, and then we got Richie and Tom and Maggie and Kirk Minifee's back. So we got a lot going on. It's going to be a lot of fun, fun week and a fun Saturday for sure.
You got a lot going on. So do we here at the In the Money Media Network. Best way to follow all the content. Well, for one thing, subscribe to the YouTube channel, click that notification bell. Tell your horse racing friends about the stuff we're doing if you like it, because there's going to be a bunch coming up. We're going to have a live final answer show. That's going to be Wednesday at 11 with us and Maggie Wolfendale and Matt Kater of Adelphi Racing. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're also going to have some more content just centering around the Belmont Racing Stakes Festival, maybe a little best bet show with some of your friends from Fox. Anyway, subscribe to the channel, click that bell, and just generally, if you're interested in our content, whether it's free written stuff or the free podcast that we do, inthemoneypodcast.com/email. That's a great place to go to sign up for our absolutely free newsletter, and hopefully we'll give you some valuable information. Let's get to the top five. Number five, this is an interesting one that I lobbied for. Tuscan Gold. This is a new entry onto our top five list, and it's a little contrarian the way I'm thinking about this. I feel like it's pretty unusual for Chad Brown to take a horse. I don't think we've seen his Preakness runners run back in the Belmont before, but this one, who just clearly hated the going on Preakness Day, I liked him heading into there. Just the fact that he shows up here, if in fact he does, I think makes him a little bit interesting. Maybe this is a little bit of an in Chad Brown we trust, but this is a horse I've always liked, and I think he deserves a place in the top five. You think that's justifiable?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he didn't really pick up his feet at all in the Preakness, so it's not like he ran and didn't run well. He just didn't run at all. So there's something that day that he just wasn't feeling, whether it was the surface. Tyler looked to be engaged with him on the backside, trying to hustle him along. So the fact that Chad's going to run him back, like you said, and do something he doesn't normally do, to me is a sign of confidence.
Let's go to number four on the list, Jonathan. This one is Seize the Gray, your Preakness winner. This horse that surprised us. You know, it was one of those races in retrospect. You look back and you look at that pace scenario, and I could see it after the fact. Unfortunately, there's no window where you can place those bets and go cash. Here's the thing. This is a Preakness winner coming to the Belmont in the hands of somebody who certainly knows how to win a classic. I don't love him in the race, but I can't tell you I think there's five horses more likely than him to win it. Where are you with Seize the Gray? Have you softened a little bit from your stance when we talked about him in a previous video?
Not particularly. I mean, I think he got loose on the lead last time. This will be his third race in what, 5 weeks, right? Running in the Pat Day Mile on Derby Day, coming back in the Preakness in 2 weeks, and then back here to the Belmont at Saratoga in 3 weeks. JK tries math, succeeds. And that to me is just, maybe he's going to start to get a little bit worn down. He's got a tough field to deal with. He'll have a real horse in Sierra Leone chasing him. And as we'll probably let you know here in our second horse, our second ranked horse, he's going to have another horse breathing down his neck as well.
You may have just failed math in that second time, because I think the horse you're referring to, we actually ultimately decided to put as number 3 on the list. The new entrant here, Mindframe. We got the news that Fierceness will not be competing. Sounds like they'll be pointing for the Haskell instead. I didn't get the full skinny on that, but it didn't sound like he had been looking his absolute best in training. Nothing wrong with him, but I think they just thought the extra time might benefit that famously mercurial runner. But the orange and blue will still be represented by Mindframe, a horse who has blown people's minds with his couple of races on the track. Maybe a slight exaggeration, but I don't know. Maybe not, JK. What do you think? How good is this Mindframe? Is he possibly ready for a test like this?
Well, one thing I'll always side with is brilliance or potential brilliance, and he might be brilliant, right? He's undefeated. His debut was scintillating with an extremely fast number, a faster number than the Derby winner earned in Mystik Dan. And so there's an opportunity for him to take a step forward. Now it's pretty fast. He's got a lot going on very quickly, but he's in the right hands with a very talented trainer, one of the best trainers of all time. And I think he's going to take another step forward. And I think he could be a taste of value. I think people are going to think maybe too much too soon. They're going to lean to Mystik Dan. They're going to lean to Sierra Leone. They're going to lean to the Preakness winner and Seize the Gray. And I think Mindframe could be extremely tough.
I do have one question about him. The form of the Todd Pletcher barn. Don't mean to say anything to denigrate Todd Pletcher, one of the best trainers I've absolutely ever seen. But I got to think his May was the worst month he's ever had. I pulled the numbers for a recent podcast, 3 for 56 in that time. 2 of those winners were sub 1 to 2 odds. It's not like he's forgotten how to train or anything, but sometimes viruses go through barns, things happen, and barns go off form. You can't be much more off form than him right now. Obviously, that can change in a hurry. He could win 3 races between the time we record this video and the time the video releases. But I do say it's something I'm being conscious of and is tempering my enthusiasm a little bit. If the cold streak continues till next Saturday, is it something that you might factor into your analysis?
No, not necessarily. I think the prices will reflect that. I think that the market's pretty attuned to how trainers are going. And I think that a lot of the programs and algorithms out there take that into account. And I think his prices will drift up. I think it'll be kind of cooked in there a little bit. Look, it's like Steph Curry shooting threes. He might miss his first 10, but I'm not betting against him missing the 11th. And that's how I feel about Todd.
Love it. Number 2, your Derby winner, Mystik Dan. He's back here, and I guess he's I think we've moved him up on the list a little bit to get him here into this exacta spot. Derby winner always deserves respect. You expressed a little bit of concern about the 3 races in 5 weeks with Seize the Gray. I assume that's got to be weighing on your mind a little bit about Mystik Dan. I think it'd be a cool story if he can get it done, that's for sure. And he certainly has the class to do it based on what we've seen on the track. But there's something holding me back from wanting to go to 10 on his chances in this Belmont Stakes.
Yeah, the thing about Mystik Dan is I think we can all look back in the Derby and agree that a perfect trip was part of his success. I understand he was close to the pace, but if Brian would have made one wrong decision, Dan would have been defeated in that Kentucky Derby. He comes back with dead aim on Seize the Gray in the Preakness, and it looks like he's going to run by, but never does. I just think he's a good horse. I don't think he's a great horse, and I think that he would need to be great in order to kind of pull off this feat. So I'll be against Mystik Dan, and if he jumps up and surprises me, so be it.
Let's talk about number 1 on the list. This one hasn't changed, Sierra Leone, though there is some news since the last time we talked about Sierra Leone. Tyler Gaffalione going to be jocked off for this run in the Belmont Stakes. I want to get your thoughts on that and how you're feeling about Sierra Leone as we head into this run for the Carnations next Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard lots of different opinions about this rider change. Some of them emotional, some of them, statistical, some of them, it makes sense. Some I agree with, some I don't. I think there's a lot of different ways to look at it. Does this feel like it's fair for Tyler? I heard Richie Migliori say it's like, sending him out there without power steering, then getting power steering, taking him off. I can understand that argument. That I'm sure Tyler would have loved to have an opportunity to run in this new bit that Sierra Leone's going to run in. But at the same time, I think I also understand Chad's perspective. This is a big race. There's a lot of money on the line for owners. This is a horse that was a very expensive purchase, so the pedigree is there for him to be a big time stallion if he can get some big races like this under his belt. So there's a lot of value to the owners, and if you feel like Flavian fits the horse better, and you feel like you're disappointed in some of the decisions that Tyler made, I have no problem with the change. But I also have no problem with people being frustrated at the change. I'm not going to think about it too much. I think Sierra Leone took advantage of a pace that fell apart in the Derby. I think he's going to be a little bit overbet. I'm not going to try to beat this horse on the square in terms of multi-race wagers, but he can't be my top pick because I don't quite trust him, and he's going to be a low price.
Fair enough. But in terms of a top 5 list, I mean, I think for this, if this isn't the top 5 horses we're betting, you can stick around, watch our final answer show next week for that. This is, almost our prediction of what the odds are going to be. He certainly deserves his number 1 spot, doesn't he, based on his body of work and the fact that if they can work out this known issue of him lugging in, we all agree he wins the Derby. Without that, he runs straight in the lane here. He's going to be very tough to down. You're happy with him as the number 1 pick?
Absolutely. No problem with it being the number one pick. And he'd probably be my second choice in terms of a wagering opportunity. I got to see what's going to happen with Mindframe. He's a little bit too interesting to me at this point.
We're going to have so much more on this race. Subscribe to the channel. Please tell your friends. We want to get more people involved in this little community. We've had some vibrant conversations in the comments. Let us know who you think should be number one from this far out on the Belmont Stakes contenders list. We'll be back with much more soon. Until then, may you win all your photos.